everybody. Welcome to day 3 of Graph Expo. Hey, got some paper celebrities in the booth. Domtar paper, Blue Line, Cougar. This morning, we're going to do 3 interviews with some Alliance members that I'd like to introduce to everybody at home, starting with Arific, like terrific with an A. And it's a Swedish company, and Eva's here, and we also have Kim, who's here as a marketing person. She's actually American. I don't know why you let her in your company, but she look a little Swedish, maybe that's why. But Arific actually has a fantastic technology that helps every printer out there, and I wanted to give them an opportunity to share some of that with you. So why don't we start off with maybe introduce yourself. You're a girl who prints. It's Girls Who Print Day. Happy Girls Who Print Day, everybody. And just a little about yourself, and then you could decide who would like to speak about the company.
Hi, I'm Eva Rosen, and I'm representing Arific, and I'm one of the founders and also the CMO of the company. Yeah.
What's your background? Do you have an extensive print background?
Yeah, I'm born and raised in a family printing business, so I know the business. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Kim Owen, and I'm here working with Arific at Graph Expo, and we're really thrilled to be part of this alien invasion at the Printerverse. And so Arific has landed at Graph Expo. This is their first time exhibiting at the show and their first event here in the US, and it's been great. So I think just a little background, I'm helping them out with their marketing and their strategy and PR. And as Eva said, they come from a background where the family's been in the printing business for years, and I guess necessity is the mother of invention, so they were struggling with their own business, trying to come up with effective ways to do print quotes quickly, and that's how they ended up developing this solution that gives printers instant print quotes 24/7. And one of the unique things that they offer is the ability to get instant print quotes for custom page sizes. So there are no limitations to the type of work that you can get a quote on, and they support offset, digital, and wide format.
Now, is this a separate system, or does this integrate into an online storefront or an MIS system that a printer already has?
Correctly. It's completely separate. However, you could integrate it with an existing MIS system depending on the type of MIS, because there is an API that you can use to connect to that. But it's not a web to print, it's not an MIS, it's strictly for quoting. So we do one thing, and we think we do it pretty well.
And is this something that I can only quote on a business card, a brochure, like the standard things you would kind of order from like a Vista print, so to speak? Or can I really go in there and say, I want a die cut, I want an extra color? How customizable is it?
Yeah, I think one of the unique things here is that it is very customizable, because depending on the equipment that you have as a printer, the way the system operates is Arific will set everything up for you behind the scenes. So if you have sheet-fed, web, digital presses, they'll load all of that information in for you behind the scenes, and you can put in all of your finishing options. So if you wanted to offer your customers an assortment of finishing options, then that's available to you. So it goes quite a bit above and beyond the traditional Vistaprint business card or brochure printing. Again, it really depends on the printer and what they want to offer their customers, but they have full flexibility to input the data that you as a printer might have in terms of your offerings.
Do you have any examples of printers who have implemented your software and have seen an increase in revenue or even saving money in other areas in the print shop?
Yes, and I'll keep going, Eva, if you don't mind. We actually have a few customers. There's a customer in Santa Clara, California, who's seen significant improvements in terms of his administration costs, because estimating for him was taking a long time, and he didn't have an ability to do custom quotes with his current estimating system. So by putting in the Arific solution, he was able to significantly cut down all his internal processing time, and he managed to get his quotes out a lot faster, therefore happier customers. But we've seen cases where some other customers had 10 people doing estimating. They were spending 70,000 hours a year estimating, and they were able to bring that down to 2.5 people doing the same work, 3,700 hours a year. So, these are the kind of numbers that start to get interesting when you look at the time and the money and the effort it takes behind the scenes to get a quote out the door.
I mean, as a print buyer, I know that, I submit my quote, maybe 3 days later I get it back, and sometimes it's not correct, and I just have to wait another 3 days, or maybe I've made a mistake on the specs and I have to go back and have it re-estimated. It takes a lot of time. So, I mean, in that sense, that's fantastic, but also I can totally understand how, if you're looking into lean manufacturing, this would be an amazing place to look on where you could save time, aka money, on this process. Now, you're in booth 3864, which is directly across the Printerverse.
Yes.
And your website is?
It's www.arific.com, and we're also on Twitter at Arific Official. And please come see us, send an email, send us a tweet. We'll be happy to help, answer any questions.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining the Alliance this year.
Thank you,
It's been
Deborah.
a pleasure having you. And we're going to bring up John from Mole. Thank you so much, ladies. Happy Girls of Print Day. Make sure you get a button.
Got one, thanks.
Mo Bros in the house. Woohoo. Hello, sir. No,
Hi, Miss Corn.
come sit next to me.
I would
like
love
to touch people.
I would love. I'd like to be touched.
I like to touch people. I'm touching him. I'm touching him. I'm touching him.
Can I reciprocate?
Yes, touch me. I like to be touched. Yay. So, we've only met by email, just so everybody knows, but I pretty much fell in love with him the first time you emailed me and said something ridiculous. I'm like, I like this guy. Again, Mole Brothers is a new Alliance member this year, hopefully a future one as well. But first of all, tell us a little bit about what's going on in your booth, and also how the show's going for you over there.
So the show's been going absolutely amazing for us. We've already had 2 in-booth sales. One, we didn't know that was going to happen. Another person came off the floor and actually said they want to buy every piece of equipment in our booth.
Bonus.
So absolute bonus. We are still, we're probably one of the few people who actually still bring machines and operate them during the show. We have 3 full lines up and running as we speak. We've been doing the show for almost back from the very beginning. So it's a show that we like and we'll continue to do.
Okay, now let's get a little more specific about what's in your booth.
So
You do.
Absolutely.
Hello.
So Mole started out a little bit more than 40 years ago to fill the need of forming pocket folders. We're in 3rd generation, so the grandfather, Dick Mole, started in his garage, manufactured the machine, and now we, in the 3rd generation, the sons, Kevin and Dan, are taking over from their father, Bruce, and hence the B in B&R Mole. And we now offer over 15 different machines. We're hitting the direct mail, which seems to be up and rising for us. Marketing companies are now bringing the print into to their own. The last system that we sold was one of the biggest we ever sold to a marketing company. Came to visit us at the show. So exciting things at Mole. Very busy.
So let's talk about the value add of finishing in general. Can you address that with any sort of customer case study, perhaps?
Absolutely. So Two, in general, we're still in the age where there's a lot of handwork being done. Our machines, I mean, you can only imagine how fast it would, someone can fold a pocket folder by hand. Our machines are doing them about 9,000 an hour.
Glue it with a glue stick?
And glue it with a glue stick and hold them shut. And as you can imagine, when you're holding them shut with a glue stick, the first one never looks like the last one. With our machines, the first one looks like the last one. And again, doing the pocket folders at maybe 9,000, 8,000 an hour. When we get into direct mail pieces that we're just simply folding, we have those running 25, 30,000 pieces an hour. So it's significant savings for people when they realize that our machines can do things that they've been doing by hand for 30, 40 years.
So is that the case study? Somebody was doing it by hand and now they're not?
So we have the one person who was doing them by hand and is not now, and significant savings. And we had another gentleman we just sold a machine to in Virginia who was having his products packaged, because that's another big industry that we're in hitting now. We have a full packaging line. He was having his products packaged in out of the country and shipped in. So not only was he paying the price for out of the country, but also the cost for shipping them in. He just purchased one of our packaging lines and said that he's added a good 35 to 40% to his bottom line by now doing it in his own plant.
If a printer is thinking about, bringing finishing in-house, what do you think is like the gateway finishing piece of equipment for them?
Well, they would go into one of our commercial print lines, basically because it's air-fed to protect the nice coatings that they put on their pieces. And it's that simple. The machines are all manual, so there's 1 or 2 days of training, and then their guys end up running the machines better than our guys. So
fantastic. Is there anything else you want to say about anything going on in your booth? Otherwise, we'll tell people how to get in touch with you. And I know you have an appointment with a prospect.
We have a nice prospect that texted us from outside the show, coming in at 11 o'clock today. Come on over and visit us. And even when we get back home, it's molebrothers.com, and people send us stock all the time because of we can't send our machines on trial. But you send us your stock, we'll run it on our machines, and we'll video it and send it back. We even do. We just had a system go to Australia. We did a Skype with them, and it was absolutely amazing. So.
And you're on Twitter at Mole Brothers.
Very recently, thanks to Miss Corn here, we are on Twitter at Mole Brothers.
And you're doing a bang-up job, my friend.
I'm doing my best.
I'm very proud of you. Thank you so much for your support,
Thank you.
for coming. And we're going to bring up the print champion, Matthew Parker, and my blogging nemesis now. Let's change our little name tags, which I forgot to do last time. So if you could get rid of Arifik and bring profitable print relationships. Now, everyone accuses me of speaking funny, but wait till you hear this guy. Come sit next to me. No, sit next to me. I like to touch people. Hello.
Good morning, Deborah. How are you?
Fantastic.
It's lovely to be here.
It's lovely to have you. Welcome to America. Well, you've been to America before.
I have, but it's
Welcome.
my first time to the Printerverse.
It's first time to the Printerverse, and it's your first time to Graph Expo.
It is indeed, and it's a great show. I'm really enjoying being here.
Okay, before we get into us,
Yeah.
tell everybody a little bit about the workshop you did yesterday. It was yesterday.
It was yesterday.
Yes. Tell everybody a little bit about the workshop you did yesterday and some of your offerings, because I think they're very valuable to printers. I used to not, by the way, but Matthew actually convinced me. I sat through one of his sessions and I was like, okay, I get it now.
Deborah suffered 3 hours of me in a session
I did.
a while ago.
I only went to say hello, and I ended up staying there for 3 hours. Everyone knows I don't make this stuff up. It's totally true. And it was at a D-Scoop, no less.
It was.
3 hours of D-Scoop to pretty much report on D-Scoop to sit through his session, but that's how really poignant and relevant it was to helping printers succeed. So,
Well, thank you, and I'm honoured that you took the time there.
thank you.
So, yesterday I ran a workshop called How to Stop Buyers Choosing on Price. Because my background, for those of you who don't know about me, is I used to be a print buyer. I'm sorry. And over my career, I had, I think, sales pitches from about 1,400 different printing companies. And a lot of them just didn't engage with me. So the workshop yesterday we went through three things. First of all, about how traditional messaging has often encouraged me to buy on price and why that is. How printing companies can use a very simple process called the TPD principle to create engaging sales messages, and maybe some new ways to get hold of people as well, because there's a lot of people out there still relying on the phone and meetings and emails, and it's so hard to get hold of people that way these days. So we looked at some other ways in which you can get hold of clients, and maybe even getting clients ringing you as well. So for those of you who weren't there yesterday at the workshop, I've also written a book called How to Stop Print Buyers Choosing on Price, and you can get hold of that on my website at profitableprintrelationships.com, as well as some courses on social media and sales tactics as well. And I also do workshops with printing companies, and I do one-to-one mentoring over Skype, working with people. If you're frustrated at everything seeming to be about price, if you're struggling to stand apart from the competition, if you're fed up with a lack of customer loyalty, then I'd love to talk to you about how I can help you about those things.
Thanks so much. And what is, you think, one thing anyone watching this broadcast or video could do right now to improve their relationship with a buyer?
Okay, the one thing I would love people to do is to get down sometime to one of your customers and have maybe a 20-minute conversation with them, and it's nothing about sales. Find out about them, their business, the challenges they're facing, how your business is helping them. And a lot of the time you'll actually find out there's a whole load more you should be doing together. Both of you will find that out. But just as importantly, you'll also find out a whole load of useful information that you can use when you're pitching your services to other similar types of company. So that's a really useful thing to do.
And when printers are actually talking to prospects, should they be talking about better price, better quality, better service?
No. So on those 1,400 sales approaches that I have from different printing companies, I reckon 98% of them went along the lines of something along the lines of, "Hi Matthew, we're a printing company, we've got great quality, we've got fantastic service, we're great for the environment, we like to run around hugging trees, and by the way, we offer competitive pricing." And that's not me making it about price, that's those printing companies. But the other problem is that if I get hundreds of printing companies approaching me with that same message, and you all sound the same, how am I going to choose? I'm going to choose on price. So that's why it's vital to have a message which focuses on the customer, how you help the customer, and what makes you different from the competition. And trust me, it's not your service, it's not your quality, it needs to be something different if you want to engage with today's buyers.
And what is something that would make a printer different?
So it could be their market specialization. So for instance, some printers now are very focused on particular markets and they understand that market, and that sets them apart from maybe some of their competition who are trying to be all things to everyone. So that's a great example of that market one, and it's often something that makes them different isn't about the print or their press, it's about something in the way they do things or how they deal with certain types of customers.
And you were on a panel yesterday. You also watched a couple of the panels. And it came up about customer testimonials. And you offered some advice about, besides the testimonials, also about customer satisfaction. That I think is worth repeating if you recall it. Otherwise, I could prompt you. But if you do, let's just tell them that piece of advice, and then I want to ask you a question kind of unrelated to what you do.
Okay.
But not
so
related.
We're talking about the testimonials, right? So the testimonials that I often see, it's very easy for me to go out and buy someone a beer, and they'll write something going, "Matthew's a really great guy, he's fantastic," and no one believes a testimonial like that. You all know that I bought someone a beer to write something nice about me. What I try and do is I talk to customers, and I've actually got a series of 6 questions to ask for testimonials, and if anyone would like those questions, then please contact me through the website at profitableprintrelationships.com. But the first thing I ask is, what were you scared about when you considered using me? Because then people bring up, I was a bit worried if I'd go in with Matthew, did he really know enough about my company or something like that. It's a very realistic testimonial that people start getting then, and it deals with people's objections as well. So those testimonials are very useful as long as you then focus them and put them on your website and on your social media and everywhere else.
And you also said something I thought was amazing advice, which is after every single job you deliver to your customer, you send them a follow-up. What could I have done better?
Yeah. And you will always get ways to improve. Now, if you're going to do that, be prepared for some bad news sometimes. Be prepared to take some criticism, some constructive criticism on board and do something about it. And you will end up building a better experience for your customers and your prospects. And when people start coming back to you saying, hey, there's absolutely nothing you could have done better, then you know that you've got your customer experience right.
Thanks so much for all that. Okay. For anyone who doesn't know, Matthew and I do a blog series every month called UK versus USA. And we put a topic out. Neither of us know how the other one is going to answer it. And we both say our opinions, and then after, right before we make it live, we share links, and that's actually, until it's live, I don't know what he said, and until it's live, he doesn't know what I said.
It generates some great discussions.
Yes. And sometimes we agree, but even when we agree, we're still talking about different perspectives. And sometimes we're so far apart that it has caused a riot on LinkedIn. The ROI one caused a near riot on LinkedIn.
But it's provoking great discussion,
Yes.
which is what's fantastic
Yes.
about it and why I love doing it.
Yes. I mean, yes, that was a crazy discussion. The
It
code
was.
management one, too, that one still freaks me out. I mentioned it on the panel the other day. But something that we I actually hosted a webinar called Print Fight Club. And this is like kind of my new, oh my God, what's going on here moment. And print management service, managed print services. What do you guys call it over there?
Well, there's two different things. So managed print services is very much about managing the copying and printing devices in your
got that
office.
one.
And then print management is all about your outsourced print and getting a company to manage that on your behalf.
Print management services. So we're kind of seeing a trend these days in the U.S. with, there's a lot of print buyers out of business, and they're kind of joining together and they're forming these firms. And I'm not saying they're not skilled, that they don't know what they're doing. They of course know what they're doing. They're us. They have our backgrounds. But their primary goal is to infiltrate, and I'm using that word on purpose, infiltrate a company under the proposition that they will save this company a significant amount of money, essentially getting rid of their employees, not paying them benefits, not paying them salaries, and hiring the print management services to do these jobs, which they're fully capable of. The problem is, where do they get the savings from? And they get the savings from their group of printers, who they basically get down to the lowest prices possible, because the printers have to have a margin, and now this other company has to have a margin, where the print buyers were just getting a salary. You guys are actually in our future, because you have had this before, and I know that you're not fully against this.
No, it can have big advantages for the right companies.
Yes, and I also agree with that, because in a lot of ways there are big corporations out there doing very bad print, and then they don't end up seeing the value in it, and hiring one of these companies can actually help more print volume and better print out into the world. I completely agree with that. But in the other situations, there is when printers, your thing is how to stop buyers choosing on price, but yet when these companies take over, that's all it becomes about, in my opinion. So can you tell us a little bit about the negative effects that have happened in England, and how long you've had this system in place? Did you ever have the other system, by the way?
Yeah, no, we used to have print bias, but now there's hardly any left. So we're a little bit ahead of the curve on print management compared to the US, I think, at the moment.
Yes, you're in our future, for sure.
Now, I think it's probably fair. I think there's a couple of things that should be said here. First of all, I sometimes do a little bit of consultancy for companies who don't have a full-time print buyer but want someone to look at it independently. And many times it's very easy for me to maybe knock 20 or 30% off their print spend, not by hammering the suppliers on price, but just by sending the right jobs to the right suppliers, looking at specification, looking at making sure they're doing things in an efficient way. Just all the things that maybe haven't been looked at before because people don't have the right expertise within that company. And a print management company is ideally placed to do that as well, as are printers. And I do sometimes think that some of the printers out there, you could be doing that for some of your clients and helping your clients in that way, so that you're holding if you have concerns that one of your clients may be looking at print management, why don't you step into that bid instead? Now, the print management side in the UK has kind of split into two ways, and there's maybe the more broker side of print management, where it's gone down exactly the route that you've described, Deborah, and initially it's very easy to get that 20 or 30% off a company's top line, and now they're all fighting on price, and the only way they're going to get better margins is to really push suppliers on price. But there's another group of print management companies out there as well that are really trying to help their customers and are really trying to maybe move into the marketing side of things as well and look at a more joined up, what companies are doing with communication, how print fits in with that, and what they can be doing to help that company get better results as much as lower their costs. And they're good for the industry, but maybe some printers could be doing that as well. The big issue that I see now is that we're suffering in the UK from a lack of print buying skill, and nobody is really investing in that. So whether you're a broker-led print management company or whether you're one of the print management companies who are looking at a more constructive way of helping their clients, both of these types of companies are struggling to find the right staff. And sometimes they're either choosing or they're forced to invest in people without proper print knowledge to do buying. And then they're not really achieving anything more for their clients at that point. So my big concern is that there is that lack of buying knowledge in the industry. And maybe actually the print industry should be doing something about that as well.
Well, you're not aware of it, but this is my next mission, and I'm making you part of it. So you've been.
No, that sounds really cool.
Yes. So we need to wrap it up now.
Okay.
Once again, give people your very long website and your Twitter information, anything else that you want to share, and then we'll say goodbye.
Fantastic.
Or we have a question from home too.
Okay. Do you want to do the question from home now?
Yes, if it's a quick question, because we need to wrap it up before the inkjet panel starts. But just tell about your website.
Okay, so while we get the question, please do get in touch with me. I love talking to people about the print industry. I love hearing about your successes, your challenges. So you can get hold of me on profitableprintrelationships.com, and my blog's there as well. If you want to follow me on Twitter, join the thousands of people there following @PrintChampion. And you can also get hold of me on LinkedIn, and my LinkedIn is Matthew Parker at Print and Procurement. You'll find me there. And finally, I'm around on Facebook as well, and I do have a YouTube channel, but there's probably not enough there yet for you to get really excited about it.
And Sandy said all the print chatters are online, so hey, print chatters!
Hey!
Yay!
Great to see you all. Yeah.
Wednesday, 4 o'clock, print chatter, Eastern Time, 9 p.m. your time, unless we change clocks. I'll never say that wrong again. From now on, I just say 4 o'clock Eastern Time, and everyone else, sorry, figure out what time it is by you.
And seriously, if you're in the print industry and you're not participating in Print Chat, you really should, because it's a great group of people. I get loads of inspiration from it. I've built up great people to get to know there. I've been meeting people from Print Chat at this show, and it's been fantastic. But there's some really good topics, and it really gives you some great industry insights. So you should be participating. And when you do, don't be shy, join in. I know it may seem scary and fast-paced at first, but actually just join in, because everyone's really welcoming. When I first started, it seemed a bit scary, and everyone made it nice and easy for me. It's a great group of people.
Thanks so much. And we're very international. We're not American-centric at all.
Absolutely.
We have lots of Europeans. The Australians keep multiplying, and they get up at like 6 o'clock in the morning to join us. We've got France is on there now. We've got a couple of... We got a lot of Brits because of you. Everyone's like, why is Matthew Parker out there 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night? And doing where? Canada, that's true. We have lots of Canadians. That's right. Hey, Canada. So thanks, everybody. Thank you so much, Matthew Paul.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Now let's touch. Hey. Thank you. We're good.